Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Chapter goes on under the name of Glories of Devotional Service. And this verse is talked by Devahuti. Devahutir Uvacha Kachitvai Uchita Bhakti Kachitvai Uchita Bhakti Kidrishi Mama Gochara Kidrishi Mama Gochara Yaya Padam Te Nirvanam Yaya Padam Te Nirvanam Anjasan Vasanva Aham Anjasan Vashnava Aham Devahuti Ruvacha Kachitvai Uchita Bhakti Kidrishi Mama Gochara Yaya Padam Te Nirvanam Anjasa Vashnava Aham Chita Bhakti Kidrishi Mama Gochara Devahuti Ruvacha Tayochita Nirvanam Mataji Devahuti Ruvacha Chita Bhakti Kidrishi Mama Gochara Charam Anjasamvaraham Kaduti Uvacha Hitaduchita Bhaktim Kaishim Ura Ocharam Haranti Nirvanam Sarahararam Devahuti Vacha Devahuti said Kachit what? Tvai unto you Uchita proper Bhakti devotional service Kidrishi what kind? Mama by me Gochara fit to be practiced Yaya by which Padam feet Te your Nirvanam liberation Anjasa immediately Anvashvanai shall attain Aham I. Translation by purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. On hearing this statement of the Lord, Devahuti inquired, what kind of devotional service is worth developing and practicing to help me easily and immediately attain the service of your lotus feet? Purport. It is stated in Bhagavad Gita that no one is barred or prohibited from rendering service to the Lord. Whatever one is, a woman or a laborer or merchant, if he engages himself in devotional service to the Lord, he is promoted to the highest perfectional state, and he goes back home, back to Godhead. Devotional service is most suitable for different types of devotees. It is determined and fixed by the mercy of spiritual master. Chakshur unmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam yena bhutale Swayam Rupa Kedamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Simple desire, right? I want to. Easy and immediately. That's what we usually have in our minds. Not much endeavor and straight away. And I want it yesterday. We cannot say that this was exactly externally what the devotee was wanted, but basically it is important, since the whole theme of Srimad-Bhagavatam is, interestingly enough, connected to whom? Who was the person explained the Srimad-Bhagavatam to? Parikshit Maharaj. And he had how much time? 7 days. So, the author or the reciter of the Srimad-Bhagavatam, usually being as qualified as possible, originally Vyasadeva who compiled it, and later on the Shukadeva who actually told it, they pick up the statements and situations and the persons somehow connected and very relevant to the person who is hearing. So if you have probably third canto, probably it's already second day or beginner third day. So you don't have 7 days even, you have like 5 days, but maybe 5.5. And you know it's going to be finished. You want to do maximum possible. Although at the same time Prabhupada mentioned that if you are passing by, I think he said passing by Calcutta or something like this, you're not going to start incense business since you have only 1 day left there. You're just coming and spending some time, and same day or next day you're going. So that 1 day you will not be reasonable to start a new business of incense factory in that 1 day. So it gives another angle of vision what we should try to achieve. So basically, any material achievements in the material world take quite a bit of time and endeavor. So those things, even if we manage to achieve something, they have to be left behind. At the same time, it is said here something different. I want to achieve it yesterday, straight away. But what the devotee is asking for? What was exactly words? Attain the service to your lotus feet. So this is not actually something achievable. This is activity. So, taking example of incense factory business. You're not going to start your own factory. Maybe you spend that day and go to existing factory and do some service there, which should be reasonable. Since all this material world, basically it is huge factory created by Lord Himself originally and designed and finally finalized by Brahma, a creator of the universe, with one single purpose: to train up. To train up. And therefore, the Prabhupada straight away, in a purport, gives important part of the whole training, mentioning that last sentence. The devotional service must be suitable for different types of devotees. That means, interesting enough, it's kind of different types of devotional service. We can come back to that. And is determined and fixed by the mercy of spiritual master. So any activities which are advised in a vast, hugely vast Vedic scriptures still have to be applied and determined by a spiritual authority, which we somehow or another should take seriously. Guru is a person without whose instructions and at the same time mercy the progress is practically impossible. Although we are in our childish mentality, which are a little bit stuck in us even during lifetime, thinking ourselves being a great discoverers. What's a child is doing? He's not much listening to instructions in early age. Everybody who has kids or remember himself, why would I listen to my parents? At early stage, you cannot do it. You don't understand what your parents saying. You have to learn the language first of all. And what you do, you explore. Of course, the first exploration is just food. Everything what goes to the mouth. It's your the best exploration. You have to taste everything. Then you have to watch, and then the next stage you have to crawl in every place possible. And therefore, parents hide the things somewhere high so you cannot reach until you are intelligent enough to deal it properly. So this childish mentality of exploring on our own is being stuck in our mentality for ages and ages and lifetimes, thinking I don't need any authority. Or if I have authority, I imagine myself how it's going to work. Many misconceptions, even on the spiritual level, comes from our own ideas. It should be like this. Many times when you talk to the people who are kind of a little bit of in a reading side of some scriptures, Bible or something like this, then they find contradictions and say, if God is so loving, why there is wars? So the loving thing is a thing which you imagine how the love should be expressed, and then there is something else, which is contradictory. So I don't accept God who is allowing whole thing. That means I'm God. I'm going to do whatever I want. Why should I listen anyway? So this is the process or mentality completely opposite to the main teaching of Srimad-Bhagavatam, which is devotional service, which is try to understand the famous verse about gurus in the Bhagavad Gita. Pranipatena, sevaya, three things. So it comes first of surrendering, but pariprasnena, can you actually surrender without asking? It comes actually first. The asking, the inquisitiveness, it is compulsory on this road, because the main stumbling block in one of the seminars Devaki Mataji sent, that if you are having this, we discussed a couple of days ago, of possibility to preach to Indian people. And for them it's sometimes difficult to explain anything. I know. Vito said that. I met some people like that in the Sankirtan, and they try to, I know Krishna, yeah. I have a book, yes. I read it, a few pages. Something like this. So this conclusion, or let's say conditioning, mixed, but mostly that conditioning comes from sattva guna, from goodness, of being attached to some sense of happiness, and also knowledge. You have knowledge. Why should I know? Can you teach some kid who is completely sure he knows everything? He knows how to crawl, he knows how to run, he knows how to scream. All these things he knows. Of course, we have to understand it's coming from previous lifetime. His mother didn't teach him to scream and scratch and do nonsense. Mothers don't teach that straight away. Although, somehow they are happy to see that. But it's special parental rasa. So these things which are childish in our point of exploration on our own, it is good from that point of view of being inquisitive and willing to understand and willing to explore and willing to see things. It's much better. Because if you are just lying, eating and sleeping all the time, how long is going to happen? You have to start exploring. You will never climb the mountain if you have known the slightest desire, I want to go there. How many of you have been up the Dresessel mountain? You've been there. Huh? More? It's a huge mountain here. It's one of the highest ones around, so why would go there? Waste the time, Of course, it's the devotional mentality, What's the point of wonders of the world if you have to spend a couple hours, half day away from the Simhadev, It's true. What's the use of all the wonders of the world if the Krishna is not present? But that's very, very high. So Guru is one who has to be, or it is actually, same as Varnashrama system in a society. Prabhupada said at one point, I have to admit that there's a huge task for you to do, establish Varnashrama. At the same time, in different books he also mentioned, there is already Varnashrama system in any society, since it is created by Lord. It's not created by us. So how we understand those things? At the same time, Krishna created everything already, and then Prabhupada asks, no, you should create a Varnashrama society. So from point of view of society members of having inclinations towards different activities, those things are already there. There's people who are scientists, There's scientists, lots of scientists around. Merchants, there's lots of merchants. Everybody wants to have a little bit of business, selling bread somewhere, some bakery, cows, kind of protecting cows, until a certain time, of course. Laborers, lots of laborers. So all these things happening. But Varnashrama system properly understood by Prabhupada means engage those things for Krishna, and while you're doing also thinking of Krishna. So same thing, exploration is always welcome from the child's point of view, but it has to be applied to certain direction. So therefore, when a Shastra starts, for example, there's an Athato Brahma Jingyasa, it's Vedanta Sutra. Now it's time to inquire about absolute truth, about highest truth, what actually exists. Because many things which exists only where? Here. This is our reflection, how we perceive the world, how we actually want to be the world. We all live in some kind of self-created bubble of, let's say, illusion or misconception how the world looks like or how it's supposed to work. And that's a little bit of also influenced. Prabhupada said that our mind has a tendency to create things. Simple example given. You see the mountain and you see the golden ring, and what do you see in a dream? Golden mountain. You watch the advertisement of Euro jackpot having 43 million, and then you think, and then you look at the mirror, and you put those two things together, and you dream, yeah, I have 43 million, I won it, wave the ticket. So those things come together, but they are not really existent. They are just happening in the mind. So the mental image of world and of selves, also what do we think ourselves, are not really reality. Of course, we can go on the whole trip of the I'm not this body and so on, I'm not this mind, but negating something, I'm not this, doesn't help. So actually what helps, it is understanding the spiritual nature of us, which is expressed through the material body, which is not us, but unless we have body, we cannot express it. If the small child is coming to you and want to hug and want to receive some love, and you just think, I love you, but don't do anything, how long is it going to last? Yeah. Not long. You'll start to cry, so yeah, but I love you so much, but I don't do anything. So that every activity as such have to be expressed. And even in the spiritual world, there's still, the bodies are made of different energy, of course. The spiritual energy, not this temporary thing and so on, but still the body is expression of the love. So we will think of Yashoda Mother, for example, and she cooks for Krishna, and she cuddles him and hugs him and smells Krishna's hair, and so different expressions of love. Still, that form of Yashoda Maya, it is secondary to her emotions and desire to serve Krishna. Although we can say non-different, but there's always different and non-different. You know. When I wave the picture of your mother, I say, who is that? Oh, it's my mother. You know. Is it actually? It's a picture of her. No, it's my mother. Yeah, of course, yeah, picture, but it's my mother. Yeah. So always that philosophy coming from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is inevitably have to imply it, otherwise there's going to be impossible to understand. There's always a simultaneous oneness, yeah, oneness. I was looking the word. Oneness and difference. So oneness, it is there. So from that point of view, there is nothing which is not connected to Krishna. So that is unique and specifically copyrighted by Vaishnavas, oneness of Krishna. After all, Krishna says, there is nothing besides me. Yeah, Srimad-Bhagavatam, he explains to Brahma. This is the key verses of Srimad-Bhagavatam, Chaturshloki. Before creation, I am only, no, I just am. It's only me. During creation, it's only me. And after creation, it's only me. So Krishna he can say that. And he's right. And then he actually gives the hint. And it's not easy to understand. It's those instructions given to Brahma. And he has a forehead. He has lots of thinking to do. Still he's bewildered, you know. When small Krishna comes and takes with left hand laddu and have a fun party with the coward boys, he's completely bewildered. How is that possible? He's that Lord, you know? I kind of remember, Krishna appeared in my heart. He gave me instructions. He revealed the whole purpose of creation, and he understood. And actually, he gave the glimpse of spiritual world, how it is, and you have to create the whole thing in a material world as much as possibly close to it, at the same time giving a little bit of a trouble so people not get too happy here. So I have to make some interesting balance. So that was task given to, still Brahma was confused. Same activity as. And this is example given to us through the Srimad-Bhagavatam in a shape of form of prayers by Brahma. And he was praying, I'm supposed to do those things. I'm supposed to be creating, using your energy. So what I'm asking for, who remembers what he was asking for? Don't allow me to be bewildered by those activities. Let me remember that I'm instrument in your hands. Because I may think I'm a doer. The energy you gave me, I will think this is my energy. The thinking activity I'm doing, this is because this is my duty, so this is me. So all these things I'll disconnect from you. And I'll become proud or whatever. Something will happen. If I'm getting bewildered, what's actual situation? Atato Brahma Jimyasa. We have to understand what is actual situation. So actual situation is that Krishna is doing everything. At the same time, since we are part and particles of Krishna, we're also taking part in that process. And what kind of role we are playing in that process, it's again coming from here, what we have vision for. And it will be also applicable to the spiritual world. Only that will be proper reality. That will be Yogamaya. Now we are in Mahamaya, the illusion which is separating us from understanding of Krishna and our original position. So therefore the need of spiritual master is essential. Why? Tadvitidam prantena pariprasna seva upadekshantya jnanam jnanas tattva darshana. There's in jnananas, they are the spiritual master who you're supposed to approach. He has seen the truth. He understands how things are. You know, our childish mentality is not allowing to see things properly. We see things as we like to see. Yeah. This is something that has to go to my mouth. Doesn't matter what it is. You know, in some stage, it's called Annamaya. Everything goes through the mouth, even for the adults. You know. What else? You discuss and you speak and you just talk about eating. You know, just it's just the day before. You know, this whole discussion, there was a small girl sitting there in Indian body, and she was crying. She had a big problem in her life because there was not enough shrikand on a plate. And she didn't want to start eat because that was not enough. It was whole scene. And the father was spending like 15 minutes explaining how and why, and I don't know. I'm not understand the language, but I understood. And she was like calming down, and again emotions rising back. And they're like, and the rest of it, all sabji, rice, doesn't matter. But there's a shrikant, and that's not enough. I'm not gonna start eat it unless it's enough. And like many devotees didn't even get a shrikant. You know? What about them? Did they cry? Maybe some did in silence. Who knows? Annamaya, this is nothing else, just food, you know. Later on, there's many levels of consciousness, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur nicely explains those things. Even that stage, you need to have a hint, an understanding how to prepare a food. Why we have so much cookbooks? So we don't make nonsense something. You know. We think this is going to be nice. You know. you play this sandbox, and you put the sand together and the water and put some flowers and mix it together, and you give your mother, it's a porridge I made it. Please eat it. Yeah, nice. Nice. So Krishna is doing same. He is accepting whatever we do, even in our nonsensical stage. But because we offer that to him, he's more happy. The child is drawing some one ring and 4 sticks. That's daddy. Ooh, nice. So Krishna is very, very acceptable. Whatever smallest endeavor will do his direction, he will accept it. Not the thing itself, but the mood in which it offering happens to be offered. Patram pushpam palam toyam. This is the key book. There's nothing mentioned there about halva or sweet rice. Patram pushpam, just simple. Bhaktya, the 2 times the same verse, it means bhaktya, means some devotion. So devotee is asking, please, what kind of devotion? And that's already interesting. Is it different types of devotion? And she's asking, what kind of devotional service is worth developing and practicing to help me easily and immediately attain service? What's your comment? What's your answer? What kind of devotion is worthwhile endeavoring for? Yeah, of course, if you read a little bit, running ahead the verses, maybe you know the answer, but just in general, is it different devotions, right? Or there's one devotion? What's your learned answer? Right. Mishra. That's very advanced,
I don't know if it's here, but he will speak about 4 types of, like, choose industry wants.
Yeah, true. That's also, actually, this is also kind of Gita. Bhagavad Gita gives that thing. And now there's, not devotee, Kapila Gita. And there's going to be Uddhava Gita. Through the whole Srimad-Bhagavatam, there's many Gitas, many poetry kind of islands in a huge, beautiful Srimad-Bhagavatam poetry. There's islands of special songs, of special prayers, of special things given by devotees or by the Lord himself, and explaining basically the same thing, but already deeper, wider, more details, more precise things. Since it's introductory. Introductory Bhagavad Gita says, just surrender to me. Okay. Yeah, kind of accept. Okay, surrender. How to surrender? Okay, then it's process, as Sanjay mentioned. Then it's question, why to surrender? Okay, I surrender this way, but why am I actually doing this? Why Krishna? Somebody just a couple of days ago came up to me and asked in a broken English language, why do you love Krishna? That was not Indian, it was a different accent. Of course I answered, I don't love Krishna. There's different levels of answering that, but basically our philosophy it is that there's only one person who loves Krishna. Who is that? Right. And? Or? There's highest lovers. The most close associates of Krishna, they always love. This is one of the unique qualities of Krishna besides the other ones which can be or possessing in Shiva and even Jivas. There's 4 unique qualities of Krishna which are only for him. And one of the qualities that he's always accompanied by most loving devotees. Their love to him is just unique. So basically our philosophy if we want to avoid many pitfalls, is not imagine ourselves as being lovers of Krishna at all. There is already, first of all, let's say, in the spiritual world, there's a Mother Yashoda, as we mentioned, there's Radharani, the highest one, there's cowherd boys. They love and they know, and they have pure devotion to Krishna. And of course, whole Srimad-Bhagavatam is rolling to that position. You're giving different devotees and these devotees and these devotees, but finally it comes to 10th chapter of those parents and the cowherd boys and gopis and everything. That answer is an ultimate answer to the question of Devaki. But gradually, we start with the definitions. The tattva. Rasa comes later. Now we answer finally to the Ramananda's question: what is first, rasa or tattva? He usually asks that question if he wants to confuse the person who gives the class. What is first, rasa or tattva? Krishna is first, and he is rasa. But since we are far away from that rasa, we need tattva to come close to that. We need definitions. Our mind likes definitions, and therefore there is a description. Devotion, pure unalloyed devotion, ecstatic devotion, complete surrender, rati, all these rasas, these comes definitions, and all the Goswamis, they were so perfect in explaining those things. We usually think if you are so much, and that was kind of a problem in Bhaktivinoda Thakur's time, that many of people who approached bhakti, they thought it's cheap, just pure emotions. What's the difference? Those times there was no movies, but just imagine maybe current days as example of movie. It's spent millions of times, and there's psychologists and there's playwriters and screenwriters and these and this, and there's a huge party behind that. There's two people talking, and they talk in such a way to arouse the emotions in you. And actually it is the Vedic system. There is Natya Shastra. The Shastra, how to perform the theater, how to perform dance. All these things are explained. How to create spiritual emotions in you while performing the theater, the playwriting, It is possible to create those things, but in order to do that, there has to be instructions. And one of the strange instructions, very precise, is if somebody is playing mridanga offbeat, that ruins the rasa. Yes, this is exactly the statement, Natya Shastram. If you don't play in a rhythm, the whole mood is spoiled. Simple, And it's just playing mridanga. What about inner feelings? We are just hitting now mixed rasas, reading in the morning, which tastes have to be maintained, which are not, which doesn't fit together. Gopis are praising animals, and they're praising cowherd boys because they can embrace Krishna in the daylight, just broad daylight. They just go and run to Krishna and embrace, and the Gopi said, we cannot do that. Why? It's a mixture of rasas, You cannot have at the same time, same place, Yashoda expressing her feelings and Gopi is expressing it. It's just impossible. It's just inappropriate, Parents, they don't express their feelings in front of their small children. They may get confused. They will not understand. I remember myself definitely asking those things. I was 12 or 10, I can't remember, or 8. And mother said simply, you will grow up, you'll understand. Oh, come on. How long? I want to grow up. And when you grow up, it was so nice to be a child, don't know these things. Right? So, when we gradually approach Krishna's devotional service, we start with those basic things of tattva, how to wash hands, how to do the shower, how to dress properly, how to behave, Vaishnava etiquette, how to speak with devotees nicely. Sattva Guna explained. Brahmanas, truthfulness, yes. I said your truth. It has to be pleasing. It has to be encouraging. Just spitting out the truth, what's the point? If it's not intended to help someone progress towards Krishna, then that's not even truth. That's lies, Because you told something and somebody has a problem now with his direction to Krishna. So that's lies, that's illusion. You put him in illusion, you put him disservice. So those things are kind of small, simple things, but in that stage already, when we are here, when we divide the duality of material world, there is a service and there is no service. For devotees, it's already different. There's service and there's service. So out of those services, which one is better? There's no question of not servicing Krishna. It's just how? Why would you do anything else? Somebody asked, there was a huge case of the bank robbery in America. And the guy was stealing and didn't get caught for some while, and he was really persistent. And that stage, America started to develop a system of psychoprofiling. Have you heard of that? You make a profile of the criminal from his activities, so in such a way you understand his mentality and his lifestyle, in such a way you can narrow down where to catch him. What's his association? Just by some small activities you find out that's his profile. So we're looking for white male, age of 35, single, probably child's home or something like this. It's easy, just narrow down out of habits. So the psychoprofiling was started in America. I think it was 30s. There was a whole movie actually about this first guy who said, okay, we have to make profiles for the criminals. So when we do profiling like this, we have to understand why some would do that. So one of these cases of criminal was, he was stealing robbery banks, and they asked, why you actually rob the banks? And he was taken aback, like, what do you ask, why? Because the money is there. So, because this is the place where money it is. Well, I go and take it. It's like, are you nonsensical? It's just basics. For him, it was just basics. For devotees who are understanding the things which are, there is no question. The question is how to serve Krishna, not question of serving or not serving him. You got the person, he's completely engaged in some nonsense activity. He works hard and he spends all his money on a gambling. That's nonsensical, because you think, you have a picture in your mind, there's a jackpot and there's me, and they are connected forever. It doesn't happen. And doesn't mean that you play the jackpot for 20 times, the next percentage goes up. No, it starts from zero. And the percentage, it's like 0.0.0.0.0.0.013% every time. And it's a very poor investment. Even if you spend like one ticket a month, $2.50 still. There is no return. You put in a bank, maybe they're going to be half cent a year from that, but there'll be some returns, That one is useless. So therefore, the principles of devotional service for beginners, it is set up by Prabhupada. No gambling, no meat eating. It's a very poor investment. So if you approach spiritual master who lives in that lifestyle, for him it's natural, just how it's possible to put other ways. But when we approach him like, why is this and why is that, what this doubt and that doubt, we have many questions. And because he sees from proper spiritual reality perspective, he can see. He like, from the above, okay, this is the way, this is the explanation. You should go that way. Okay, forget about that. So He can easily give. And actually, same as I mentioned, Varnashrama, the system of guru, the system of authority, it is there, built inside. We cannot become a dentist. We cannot go in university and expect learning just from books. You have to go to a professor. You have to attend the classes. They will give knowledge and they will judge, are you proceeding or not, just by reading books. Even just by reading Srimad-Bhagavatam. It's kind of, wow. You cannot progress even if you read Srimad-Bhagavatam 10 times. Unless you follow what's in there. Because it's said there, you should go to devotees, If you're serious reading Srimad-Bhagavatam, you'll follow. That's when because the devotional service without devotee is impossible. You will not catch the mood of devotional service unless you see how one is doing that. Starting with spiritual master. And after all, when hopefully you're planning to go to spiritual world, you will also be faced with the actual close relationships of Krishna, all his devotees around him. And you will check them, you'll see him, how they're serving. Not just activity, but emotionally, devotionally, all those things will come up to you. And you'll learn from them eternally. It's impossible to learn and say, okay, that's it. That's Mayavadi theory. They have this system, You crawl up the wall, you use a ladder, and when you're up, you just kick it. That's the same approach to Guru. Okay, I learned from Guru, I don't need you anymore. Japan is famous for that. If you go to some teacher or even company boss, he's your boss, he's your teacher for the rest of the life. And we are also thankful to our teachers in school. I remember my history teacher. I don't remember a single thing she taught about history at all, but she was such a nice person. The chemistry teacher. She went, I don't know how much hours and money she spent, and she visited my Russian army. My mother didn't come. And she came, took a train for 2 days from Letland to South Russia somewhere, and she visited us. Yeah, and she visited us. Yeah, just amazing. It's just, you have this emotional connection because you are interested in person. You're interested in how it's doing. Maybe I need some emotional help, some physical help, some money, anything. So when we have this mentality of being more interested in someone else's benefit than ours, then we are qualified for devotional service. Because then we are qualified to enter the association of Krishna's entourage, his close associates. And this is the best, not just best, this is the only intelligent place to be. Where else would we? What we can achieve, what we can get from the teachers or people who are working hard, and everything they get, they have to lose. Since it is mentioned by Krishna himself, the devotional service, you start, even one drop will not be lost. Whatever you start in this lifetime, even you go away for a while and come back, you will start from the same point. You don't finish in this lifetime, Arjuna is worried, there's going to be like cloud, blown away and just disappear. No, everything you put, it's an eternal bank. Any single activity of devotional service. Krishna is so thankful. He is never forgetful. He always remembers whatever did for him or his devotees. Even more for his devotees. Even it comes to the point, like pure devotees, gopis, they serve, they say, I have no assets to return you. Naparyaham, there's a whole book about that. By Sri Ram Swami. There's nothing I can give you back. Your devotional service, it is the actual payment which you receive. This is the highest payment you can receive. I have nothing because you have more devotional service than me. He's praising. That's the beauty of Krishna. He is praising. Krishna is God, therefore he has nothing to lose. He easily can give a benefit or credit to anyone else around. So Krishna is very, very thankful. Nrsimha is very thankful. He's same Krishna, just a little bit different. Such a way we encourage everybody to study Srimad-Bhagavatam, at the same time follow what's written there, approaching devotees, serving them in such a way pleasing Krishna. And this is actually final answer to the question of the devotee. What kind of service? Pure, completely surrendered, sarva dharma, no other activities, no other duties. Mamekam sharanam, surrender to Krishna. And you'll get the best friend, best master, best lover, best whatever you want in one person. No other place to look for. Okay, any questions, answers, comments?
Maybe you can elaborate on, as far as I understood, being more interested in others than in oneself.
Mm-hmm.
That is the qualification to join Krishna's associates.
Right. Being life and soul of someone. How to elaborate that? Come on. You have to experience that first. This is the main disease of material world, thinking ourselves to be center. Thinking that my duty or my need is more important than other ones. Classical thing, you scratch my back, I scratch your back. Only in that succession. If you scratch first, then I may scratch your back, not the opposite. No. I scratch your back, and whatever you scratch back or not doesn't matter, I just like. Tamal Krishna Maharaj said, Prabhupada was also keen in afternoon sunshine, sitting in the roof of ashram. He liked his back to be scratched. And he took a great pleasure to doing that for a few months. This is the principle of selflessness. If we see mother driving the cart and somehow just being carried away, watching at some shopping windows, whatever dresses and jewelry, and suddenly that cart of the child just slides down to the road, and a car is coming, she'll jump and she'll not think of a single moment of her own health or damage she's going to receive. She's completely absorbed in the child's health and benefit. Just for that moment, though. She'll look at the next shopping window again in a while. So, putting Krishna first, it is the contradictory and mystically the key thing of all activities which we want to call and actually are devotional. When Prabhupada says putting water on tree, okay, it makes sense, but we understand there's also rain and we are sprinkling the water on the leaves of tulasis, some kind of, all the examples which are material, they have faults. They have limitation of application. So putting in this food in the stomach, yeah, but if you put some cream on the skin, it also helps, right? Not just you eat cream, you put this cream here. So, right, there's some limitations on any example, but the principle, it is same. The stomach is one which actually digests and gives food from inside. So basically, if you eat healthy, you don't need any cream. It's true. So if we are completely absorbed in serving and pleasing Krishna, because he is most pure, he is most intelligent, he knows what's best for us too. If we serve him as he likes, we will be provided anything we need. We will be happy, satisfied, and we don't need. So when hundreds of examples of Srimad-Bhagavatam says, Krishna asks, ask for benefit. Chaitanya, this lila of 21 hours being sitting in the throne of Vishnu. Come ask for benedictions. No, we don't need anything. Just allow us serving. Like, oh, come on. I would ask for something more. Our vision is something more. But when we actually approach Krishna and we want to serve Him, please Him, that includes all the rest of the things. That's a poor... unfortunately, poor faith we have. We think we need a backfire. And that's not mood of Vrindavan. This is complete mood of Vrindavan we're talking about. This will come out, as I said. This is culmination of Vrindavan love. So it says love of Dwarka also. And the queens in Vrindavan, the queens of Dwarka, and they have 50-50, We like Krishna, and Krishna likes us, And if he doesn't like us, then no, we have our own business. 50-50. They don't have full surrender as the residents in Vrindavan at all. But our acharyas, the blessings of Chaitanya is this selfishness, and you don't have nothing else. Only you think how to please Lord. And He will provide the things. Example was one of the disciples of Bhakti Saraswati. He was so dedicated. Everything, not just a little bit, like Kalaveja Sitar, he spent 50% on worshipping Ganga. No, he was so dedicated, all his money every month he earned, he brought personally and gave to Bhakti Saraswati. And hidingly, Bhakti Saraswati, he was giving money to his wife. So she can survive, But he was so convinced that if you bring everything to Guru, that's the best thing to do. So that's a grasta life proper. I know, I'm not a good example. I didn't do that. So the principle is, if you bring everything to Krishna, Krishna will provide through the whole different things, everything you need. And most of the thing, we're looking for happiness, we're looking for satisfaction. Anything, everything we need. So complete dedication to others includes also a Vaishnavas. If you are dedicating yourself to Vaishnavas, that makes Krishna even more pleased. So that principle of serving gradually can come to our lives if we start with one person, which is Guru. So we have to develop the first step of developing faith in one pure Vaishnava. And then gradually we are able to serve. And finally we come to Uttamadhikari platform, but you see everybody else is serving Krishna except me. Yeah, we offer obeisances to every living being, every Vaishnava. They are serving Krishna, not me. That's not tattva, that's rasa. Yeah, that's your mood, that's your ecstasy. That's your ecstasy. You don't. And Krishna is liking that. Krishna, Dainya, the most humbleness, which is required for actually entering the Vrindavan mood. They don't think of themselves at all. And that's a Vedic system compared to us. We have rights here. In Vedic system, there's no rights, there are only duties. This is my right, I need to give this, I need to present, I need taxes, this is all rights. And somebody else's duty is to fulfill my rights. That's me, center, and have rights. So everybody else should fulfill their duties as my rights. Vedic system, opposite. I have duties, and if I fulfill my duties, everybody else's rights are fulfilled automatically. But the result, interaction is completely different. If you have coming to the seminar and somebody asking, oh, that costs 20 euros each. Okay, you just pay. And because you're paid, then you expect something, and then you don't receive something, and then you're disappointed. But if you come to the seminar and seminar for free, on a basis of donations, if you're happy, you give. If you're not happy, you don't give. And there's no drawbacks. Right? You just give as much as you want. So the system is, You give and whatever comes back, it comes back. Oh, that's Brahminical mentality. It has to be developed. It doesn't come straight away. That you have to pass the Kshatriya and Shudra and Vaishya, stuff like that. Because they have business relationships. The Brahmana, he just gives, He just gives knowledge, he gives things, whatever. He has a cow, somebody donated the cow, he gives a cow. Somebody donates the money. Yeah. Basically, the Vedic system was the Kshatriya, the king, he give the cows to the Brahmanas. Now what happens? You're one Brahmana, you have donated 70 cows, what are you going to do? You give back to the king. It's a circle, but now the cow is sanctified. And it's interaction, the whole donation thing, and thankfulness, that's proper way to live, actually. Nothing belongs to me. Even Krishna says, nothing belongs to me. Everything belongs to my father, Nanda Maharaj. And even he has authority, he has a guru. Unwritten. We haven't heard about Nanda Maharaj's guru, no? Not much. But he has a brother, elder brother, his name is Upananda. And Upananda says, listen guys, for last months we have seen that so many demons come here to Gokula. We're not sure which demon. There's some chief demon who is sending them all by themselves, doesn't matter, but there's one demon, another, third one. This is not a safe place anymore. Just pack our stuff and go. There's a nice place called Vrindavan. And what they do? Same day. They pack their stuff, they finish the duties, they put everything in rat cars and just go. And Nanda Maharaj, he's king, And his elder brother comes and he's advisor. Okay, Brahminical advisor. Yeah, he has very authority. Like this. So if somebody says like this, if we don't have proper faith in people saying us anything that is directed and allowed by Krishna, then we start arguing. There is no single hair falling from anyone except if Krishna allows it. So you have your desire to say something, and somebody is coming to you and saying something. You understand? He wanted to say, but then the Krishna, in a shape of super soul, he allowed to do it. That way, he approached me with some instruction, some advice, whatever, criticism, whatever it comes. If you are devoted like this way, you understand. That's coming from Krishna. He used him as an instrument. Otherwise, he'll be shut up. He'll just sit in his room or sleep, whatever. But he wake up, he come to me and start to talk. That means some reason. That means Krishna allowed it. That means Krishna doesn't allow it. He has some purpose behind it. So all these things are advanced in Krishna consciousness if we see directly or indirectly or first or second or third step Krishna's presence, Krishna's finger, Krishna's participation in every activity. So that's proper Krishna consciousness. So in such a way, if you devote yourself to anyone, ultimately Krishna is a receiver too. So that's Krishna consciousness. It's a little bit extended answer. Hopefully it did work out. If you're conspecting, that means it's working.
Just take it.
Yeah. So. Let's finish and go for prasadam now. Granthran Srimad-Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Pralada Harsmin Simha. Prabhupada ki jai. Jai. Lucky I'm not Prabhu. I'm not Ramdas. Prabhu ki jai.